Hello and welcome back to Triplicate, home of interesting electronics, and time for a new project. Now, a little backstory here. Last summer our daughter got married to a young man who came from California, and the wedding was in London, so they had a party in Los Angeles for all those friends and relatives who couldn't make it over here, and we were invited, and of course we had to go. And after the party we hired what's known over there as an RV and over here as a small house on wheels, and did a bit of a road trip, and bumbling along the freeways through California and Nevada and Arizona, we were passed by quite a few of the big rigs, and certainly, at least in Nevada and Arizona, they can do 75 miles an hour, which is quite intimidating. So for a bit of a joke, I asked Santa if I could have a big rig for Christmas, and I got this one. It rolls nicely, and you might have seen sitting on top of our printer. And I also got this one, so I have to pan back to get in, which is also remote controlled. So should we take it downstairs where there's a bit more floor room and have a play with it? Okay, firstly let's take a look at the controller, which is a sort of steering wheel shaped thing, and it has 4 buttons. And it's not designed to be worked one-handed. All these other things don't actually do anything, and in the shape of a steering wheel it actually steers. So if I So it's got a sort of crude mechanical tilt switch, which you can probably hear clicking, and 2 of these buttons, the right hand ones I believe, also work the steering left and right, and you've got a forward button and a backwards button. So if we go down to the machine itself, which has road rage written on it in very large letters, possibly not the best thing to write on a large vehicle, and turn the switch on underneath. There's a little red switch there which you probably can't see, and we get a flashing light on top. There we go, backwards, left. Try and keep you in shot. Whoops. If I go around, so that's on left lock. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to point the camera and steer the lorry at the same time. So okay, and on the right lock, oh, crunch. Right lock, no, left lock. So, oops, right, steering using the toe of my shoe, go backwards. Do I want right lock? No. Left lock? No. Right lock? Well, So the first thing we notice, it's hard to manoeuvre because it's full throttle forward or full throttle backwards, and you see I'm now trying to steer it backwards. It is actually completely impossible to control backwards. I'm sure it's not just my incompetence. Okay, you get the idea. It's not the easiest thing to drive. So I thought, could we do something about it? Could we make it a bit more realistic and a bit easier to drive? Right, so as you can see, I've taken the trailer off and I've blocked it up on a couple of bits of wood. There's another bit of this round the back. So we can see what we've got. So turn right, straight, turn left, straight, forwards and backwards, full throttle. So initially I thought about replacing this with one with a proper proportional steering wheel and a joystick or a lever for some more variable throttle. And then I thought, hang on, it would be a more interesting project to leave this as it is and pick up the left signal, the right signal, the forward signal and the backward signal in here, feed them into our trusty Arduino and try and interpret them in a way that makes it more natural to drive. So that's what I've decided to do. Right, I think the first thing we need to do is actually have a look and see what we've actually got in here. So there are 2 screws at the front, I can see, 2 at the back. There are 2 down here, but I'm not sure, they're just not holding the battery box in, so we'll leave those for now, and we will take these out. Come on. And in the way, don't know that I can do anything about it. Two. Three. Four. Right, is anything going to come apart? Oh. Okay, the front bit of the cab is coming away. Right, so I'm guessing these two go through the battery box, hold the back end of the cabin. So that's fallen off. Reckon that's fallen off. So, what have we got here? Well, let's look firstly, I suppose, at the heart of the thing, which is that little chip. Which is doing all the work. This is an MX1608RX TX as pictured, and it has a TX chip that goes with it, which is in the controller unit, and that just has two motor outputs. There you go. So one of these is this, goes to the steering, and the other one goes to the drive. And I'm guessing this curious spring is the antenna, and that's about it. Okay, so should we see what voltages are coming out of it? The steering. Burst. And I'm sorry, I know the meter's upside down for you. Okay, so 2.7, 2.8 volts left, 2.8 volts, right, minus 2.8 volts, right, the way I've got it. And plus 2.8 volts left. Okay, fair enough. Shall we see what this motor does? Okay, minus 4 volts that way. 4.8 volts that way backwards, and forwards the lights come on. Okay, doesn't actually tell us anything we didn't know, but it's good to check. And let's have a look at this flashing LED on the top. That is these two wires. No, there's a chip up in there or something that's flashing the LED. Okay, because that's a steady voltage, that's just across the supply, I think. Okay, so to be able to control this better, what do we need to do? Well, we need to go into the motor drive and take what's coming out of the chip and interpret it somehow and drive the motor with a better signal. And we need to do similar with the steering, take those two, and we also preferably need some indication of the position of the wheels for the steering, and we certainly need some indication of the speed. So what I'm proposing to do is to try and make it so it can be put back to its original form. So I shall cut those and take the 4 of those into the trailer, cut those, take the 4 of those into the trailer. I shall have a separate power supply in the trailer which will be more than the feeble 6 volts, or a bit less if you're using rechargeables, that come out of the batteries in there. So I shall need power into here. Then I shall need some kind of speed sensor, and preferably some kind of wheel sensor. So, have you been counting? How many is that? 4, 8, 10, 12, 14 probably. Okay, well I will first up, I think, concentrate on doing that and have some kind of terminal block in the trailer which I can just put a link in. Yeah, I think that's my first step. Alright, and I also think we need to know, been a bit less enthusiastic about looking into these bits at the ends, but I think we're going to have to do it, so let's bite the bullet and do it now. These wheels just clip in there, which might be useful for speed sensing, because we've now got the wheels and we can do as we wish with them. Right, I have to support the back end here, and you're going to see the back of my hand, I know. Alright, oops. So, shall we attempt, well, zoom in I say, not out. So there's a little gearbox, there's a screwdriver. That's in here, there's a small gear on the motor, which I guess engages with the large gear here, and the small gear in the gearbox engages with the back wheel. Out of shot again. Oh, wrong way. Well, it would be nice to be able to measure the motor speed. Rather than the wheel speed, because it's so much higher, so it'd be more accurate. We shall consider that one. Put the screw back in here. Stop it flying away. Right, let's have a look at the other end. Right. put my hand under this. Now, it's the multimeter saying it's about to turn off. Sorry, as I say, excellent shot at the back of my hand. Right, this is all gonna fall into a million pieces, isn't it? Oh, and more screws. Well, without taking it any further apart and risking any more pieces flying across the desk, I will zoom into this, and you can see the shaft turning at the end of there, and it turns not very far. There's probably about one turn on the motor end to end. That's going to be hard to control. Oh hum. Well, on that note, I think I'll probably call it a day at the moment and try and get these screws back in before any of these little parts get lost, and I'll spay that process. Okay, I've got 2 screws that hold the top on at the front, 2 screws that hold the top on the middle, 2 screws that hold the top on at the back, and I've got 7 screws. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here for this video. I've ordered a bunch of bits, and when they arrive I'll share them with you and my thoughts as to how they're all going to go together, and we'll start cracking on with it. Until then, if you like the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment if you've got something to say. A thumbs up would be nice. So it's goodbye from Triplicate, home of interesting electronics, and I still don't know where that screw came from. So goodbye.